Hello, this is Roland. First, I would mention the importance of being spiritually grounded. There's something called grounding or earthing. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's like when you stand barefoot in the sand at the beach, or you stand barefoot in the grass. You're grounded. Or you hug a tree or lean up against a tree. You're grounded. They call it earthing or grounding. Well, there's also something called spiritual grounding. And I know how to do it. Okay? I know how to do it. Now, we should always be spiritually grounded, we humans. But we're not. Most people are not. Very few people are. The closest that most people are to being spiritually grounded is when they were little babes and little children. Because what happens is that special rapport, yes, a rapport with your ground of being is lost through a variety of things, especially becoming upset. But people upset you. See, when you were a little child, you were innocent. And you saw things and knew things. You were just a little child, of course. But had your parents protected you from excessive tease and emotionalism, and had they had wisdom, and had they not themselves been emotional and upset and angry and full of doubt, and so on, why, you might have been able to remain very, very, very close to that rapport you had with your spiritual roots. Let's call them roots. Remember, a long time ago there was a series on television, a very popular series called Roots? Well, that's what you need to find. You need to become spiritually grounded, and I know how to do it. I have a meditation that helps you to become spiritually grounded. See? Now, let me quickly add that any so-called meditation or practice that leads to use of the imagination, visualizing, imagining, or uses hypnotic techniques, chanting, repeating words, mantras, so on. Those are all hypnotic. They lead you away from your spiritual roots. They lead you into a world of fantasy, of imagination, of thought, of unreality. See, even as a video game leads you away from reality, leads you into an unreal world. But you can get so caught up in that unreal world that it becomes more important to you than the real world. You see, that's what happens to people. We get lost in our imagination. We escape into thinking, we escape into worrying, we escape into fantasy to avoid the truth, which in reality the truth would dawn upon us. We would see the truth about our selfishness and our resentments toward other people, and our dishonesty, our phoniness, our secret judgments of others. See? So as long as a person wants to escape the truth, then nothing will help them. But only when they want to know the truth and are willing to see the truth and admit the truth, even if it brings some pain, which it will to our ego, mostly to our ego, when you have to see that you're wrong. Okay? So, but if you want to know the truth, you're willing to know the truth, let's put it that way, instead of resenting it and escaping from it, then the little meditation technique that I have will work for you. And it's so simple. It's the essence of simplicity. I give it away. It's free. It's simple. Okay? Nothing elaborate. Nothing far out. Just very simple. And it's in line with the very best of Judeo-Christian, I was going to say tradition. See, there have always been people, there have always been spiritual people who found something, and then they tried to tell you what they found. In fact, Christ tried to tell you. See, he had it, and he wanted you to have it too. But a lot of people rejected him. See, God gave us a choice. You can look for truth or not. You can accept it or not. See, so it's up to the individual. So that's why I can't tell who's going to eventually come to the truth and who isn't. I can't tell. See, it's a mystery. It has something to do with the person's soul and the inclination of their soul. But I want to keep this very simple, and that is, it's very important to become spiritually grounded, to refine your roots. Very important. I can't emphasize how important that is. And I cannot overemphasize how important the simple meditation is. Because most people, after a lifelong habit of escaping from reality into thoughts and imagination and worries and trying to figure things out and planning for the future and reliving the past, and after a lifetime of escaping into thought and emotion, which people do thousands of times a day, escape, they almost don't even know how to stay in reality anymore. They don't know how. They need help, something to get them started. And then if their attitude is, like I said, true, if their attitude is they want to know the truth, then it'll work for them. But people need a little help getting started. And so that's what the meditation is for. It helps. It just shows you how to sit still and be in the present. Okay? Now, there are a lot of meditations. You hear the term mindfulness, which is actually good. It's actually a good idea. That's what I'm talking about, being in the present and being mindful. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. A lot of people don't know how to do it. Or they know how to be mindful, but when things to worry them or upset them come along, they don't know how to observe what upsets them or worries them. They don't know how to observe it without being upset and worried. When troubles come along, they don't know how to stay mindful. See, that's what you need to learn, which you easily can learn, but you have to start with something simple, something basic, something that you can practice in quiet time, first thing in the morning, maybe at lunchtime, and in the evening for 5 minutes. A little meditation technique. So, of course, you can go to any of my websites, sheddingshackles.com, talktoapastor.org, that's with an org, talktoapastor.org, or commonsensecounseling.org. You go to any of those and find it. The easy meditation, okay, the free meditation, that's what it's called. Okay, so I think this is a good little video that I just made. I don't need to go on and on. I've said enough. It's important to become grounded. See the term mindful. The question is, whose mind? See, in the Bible it talks about the mind of Christ. Paul talks about the mind of Christ. When you're lost in your imagination, worrying about the past, or worrying about the future, reliving the past, planning, scheming, trying to figure things out, when you're struggling down there, where do those thoughts come from? Just whose thoughts are they? See, and they're so repetitive and negative, and there's never an answer. See, So why do you look in there when there's never an answer? So you've been misled. You've been misguided. Somebody drove you into your imagination, into thought, into fantasy. Now, who would have done such a thing? Who would want to drive you into your thinking, where you're lost in thought? See? Well, people do it. People all around you do it. Why did they do it? Well, first of all, that's all they know themselves. They are also misguided. And secondly, were you to be aware? Were you not to be lost in thoughts, self-preoccupied? Then, with clear eyes, you might see them for what they are. You might see the games they're playing. You might see their dishonesty. See, they don't want to be observed. And so there's nothing more that they want than for you to somehow get your attention captive and get pulled into thoughts and so on. So, coming back to mindfulness again, that's what you want, mindfulness. But now, while we're on the subject of mindfulness, I want to mention something else about mindfulness. There are mindfulness meditations. If they don't involve visualization, but they usually do, see, that's the problem. Can you see that that's the problem? You can't solve the problem with the problem. What is the saying? You know, if what you've been doing hasn't been working, if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to get the same results you've been getting. So, if it encourages you to visualize or to become hypnotized, see mantras, chanting, repeating words, study. Those are hypnotic. They will bring you into hypnosis, pull you from reality. What is hypnosis but being involved in unreality? I'm sure you've seen professional hypnotists on the stage. You've seen them work, and it's kind of fun to watch, and it's very interesting. They get somebody, they hypnotize them, which is not very hard. Of course, they pick the ones that are easy to hypnotize. They know how to pick them. They look for someone who's concentrating. When they tell people to concentrate, they look for the one that's concentrating. So now you see what the problem is with study. Why you can get so lost in study that you become detached from reality. But then they say to someone, why, I'm just going to make something up. You're a baseball player. And then the person thinks they're a baseball player. Or they tell them, you know, you can't get your shoe off. Then they can't get their shoe off. They create an unreal world in the person's imagination. And the person steps into that unreal world, and then it becomes real to them. See? So anything that has you stepping into, even if it's some meditation that talks about a beautiful scene, imagine a waterfall and water and the sounds of the water and beautiful flowers and all that, it's hypnosis. The problem is you're lost in thinking. And you don't get answers from thinking. What do you get? Negativity, worries, doubts, fears. See? And wrong answers. But a mindful, if there is one other than mine, mindfulness meditation that somehow just shows you how to sit quietly in the present. Then I think that some people who do that, thereby they actually find their spiritual roots. See, it works for them. It doesn't. All the others just get lost into imagination or something, but some of them will actually find their roots. And when they do, when they find their center of being, their ground of being, then they find something very wonderful, which leads to good things happening in their life. Okay? And they don't know, they may not even know that they found it, and the ones who showed them how to meditate don't even know that they found it. But they do. But you see, the element missing from these meditations, you know what it is? What's missing? What's the elephant in the living room? It's God. God is missing. How can you have a proper meditation without God? You can't. Of course, then, you know, organized religious groups will say, okay, you're chanting and repeating prayers and and studying the scripture and see, but it's more hypnosis, more study, more concentration, more visualization, they create an alternate reality for you. No, you sit in reality quietly and experience, and and you come close to the presence of God. That's really what it is. Okay? Well, like I said, I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to stop now. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember, you can find the free meditation at sheddingshackles.com, talktoapastor.org, or commonsensecounseling.org. My name is Roland.